Alright folks, Genius Idiot, we are back. Let's finish this off. I finished analyzing the wire transfer receipt. Somebody moved $80 million from an account based in Luxembourg to one here in the States. The memo reads Security Systems. Luxembourg is one of the biggest tax havens on earth. They're notoriously private about the accounts of their high net worth individuals, so it's going to be hard to find out who sent the money. But I was able to trace the account that received the funds. It's a real estate LLC that owns several buildings here in the DC area, one of which houses the Cochineal Club, the nightclub that Chuck used to hang out in. Well, what do you want to bet that their security system that this mysterious individual paid $80 million for is nuclear powered? That could be, but there's nothing on this receipt that makes it more than circumstantial evidence. We're going to need something else to prove what the payment was for. Alright, we're going to skip this real quick. Bad news. My analysis indicates that there's a discrepancy in the amount of nuclear material being shipped to safety roads versus what they're entering into their inventory records. Somewhere between shipment and storage, a small but significant amount of raw nuclear material is disappearing. So somebody at Safety Road is altering these records to cover up this discrepancy. Is Reggie Wheeler behind it? Could be. As it stands, these records aren't definitive proof that what Reggie Wheeler is guilty, but they'll be more than enough to open an investigation into Safety Roads. Hello, Agent. Even though you delivered me that encrypted external hard drive too late for us to stop the theft of the weapons, my associate took a closer look at the files on it for anything useful. He managed to uncover a file that had been deleted before the classified information was put on the drive. It was a draft of an apology email from Whit Martin to Chuck Wheeler. In it, Mr. Martin admits to selling the drugs that Chuck Wheeler was fired from his swim team job for supposedly selling. He writes that we never meant for you to get caught up in this. Whit Martin was working with someone he and Chuck knew to move drugs into Vanderpont Academy. Maybe the same person he cooperated with to move weapons out of Safety Road. Determine who the Red Fox is. I think we've gathered enough evidence to determine who the Red Fox is. We just need to look at the clues and see who they point to. We know that Whit Martin won't give this person up because he claims to love her, so we're probably dealing with a woman. Furthermore, we found a wire transfer receipt at the Safety Road facility indicating a large amount of money was paid to a holding company that owns the Cochineal Club. Chuck Wheeler was drowned in Succubus brand vodka, his drink of choice. Whit Martin is underage, so we can probably conclude that his partner is the one with the access to the alcohol. But we also have evidence that Mr. Wheeler has been selling nuclear material to the highest bidder. There's a chance that the robbery at Safety Road was an inside job he orchestrated. The answer is right in front of us. Who do you think the Red Fox agent? The Red Fox is Agent O. Duh. 100%. Valerie Aritza. You're right. The evidence makes it clear. She knew about Chuck's job. The money went to an LLC she's involved with. She had access to more than enough alcohol to drown Chuck, and the decor of the club shows her affinity for red. Let's go pay Miss Aritza a visit and see if we can get those nukes back. Nice. Good evening, Miss Aritza, or should I address you as the Red Fox? Excuse me? I don't have any idea what you're talking about. We have clear evidence that you worked with Whit Martin to kidnap Chuck and ransom him for information about nuclear weapons his father stores for the United States government. So when did you decide to hold Chuck hostage, Miss Aritza? Did you pursue a relationship with Whit Martin to target him, or did Whit just bring you the opportunity by chance? Wait, back up a step. You think I had a relationship with Whit Martin? Well, that's a laugh. Interesting. Look, like I told you before, the only time I ever saw Whit was when Chuck brought him around, and even then I didn't let him inside the club. If he says we had anything to do with each other, it's only because I called him after Chucky disappeared to see if he was okay. Whit was basically a stranger to me, so the idea that we had any kind of relationship was just lunacy. Even then I didn't let him inside the club. How does she have his number? If Whit was a stranger to you, someone you never saw outside of him coming around Chuck, then why would you call him? Why would you even have his number? Your lies are only making things worse for you. We know you stole those weapons. The evidence doesn't lie. The only hope you have for leniency is helping us get them back. Fine, I was involved with Whit. I didn't plan to be. It just happened. Chucky would bring him around, and he was kind of cute, and he was 18, so I didn't see anything wrong with it. One night, Whit came to my bar and said that he found Chuck locked in a dungeon underneath the chapel. I went back with him to confirm, and it was true. Whit wanted to let him go, but I knew who Chuck's dad was. Selling a warhead could make us millions. The plan was working until Whit messed up and said my name in front of Chuck. After that, I couldn't let Chuck go. He had to be dealt with. While you were chasing down Whit Martin, some associates and I broke into Safety Road. Who'd you sell the weapons to? I had intended to sell them to a group of freedom fighters in Eastern Europe, but at the last minute the group was outbid by the concierge of crime himself, Mr. Raymond Reddington. I'd like to help you get them back, but I'm sure they're long gone. For Reddington's sake, he better hope not. Good evening, agents. I'd say it's always a pleasure, but I detest liars. Why was it so urgent that you speak to me immediately? Did you arrange to purchase $80 million worth of nuclear weapons from Valerie Aritza? Ah, yes. When I learned Valerie's intended to sell the warheads to that ridiculous group of revolutionaries, I couldn't help but place a bit of my own. At the time, I was in tense negotiations with the party who needed to know I was deadly serious about the terms I was presenting. But you'll be thrilled to know that my show of force was successful, and the negotiations were resolved in my favor. As I no longer needed the weapons, I'll arrange for their return to your custody. I'm sure Uncle Sam would be happy to get those toys back. Did it ever even occur to you that given what we're investigating, it could have been incredibly useful for us to know that information? Oh, don't be so dour, Agent Torres. Yes, the thought had crossed my mind, but would have put such a damper on my negotiations. And, had I not intervened, Valerie would have sent your warheads off, and they'd now be well on their way to Turkmenistan. Instead, they'll be returning safely to your care by this evening. All in all, it's been a productive day's work for all three of us, which calls for celebration. Perhaps we can get that goldfish cocktail recipe from Valerie before you transfer her to federal custody. So sly. I trust you weren't offended by what I said earlier. Even though I kept details to myself during your investigation, I'm still eager to work together. I trust you are as well, since you're here. Totally. I know you got something behind your evil eyes. And you help me, I help you. Ha, even men like Reggie Wheeler have to take a second job in this new economy. Oh, the twisted ways of the world. You were right to trust me with this information. I have a number of contacts in mind who will be much more effective in the Bureau in figuring out who Reggie Wheeler's client list was. Nice. We get to unlock the next case. I mastered it. Sweet. So the next one is the Silent Parter. I'll see you guys later. This has been Bitching Ace 88. Over and out.